Greetings, Bangers and MASH audience. Once again, here are your hosts, Mr. Bangers, a.k.a. Zach, and my co-host,
Mr. MASH, a.k.a. JD, a.k.a. Awesome.
And as promised last time, today's episode we are doing a audio commentary. As usual, our fan base remained quiet. We did not receive any requests for an audio commentary, as I suspected we would.
Seriously, guys, when we ask you to write us,
it's okay. My feelings aren't hurt. So instead, we are doing a commentary on something a little different. Our previous commentaries were on classic horror. We did Frankenstein and Dracula. Both of those episodes were pretty popular.
Yes.
What are we doing a commentary on today, Mr. Mash?
Probably one of the best worst Friday the 13th movies.
In my opinion, it is the best worst, though Jason X comes a close second.
Jason X is a comedy. It's not really a horror, so it doesn't count.
Anyway, yes, we are doing an audio commentary for Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. And I chose this strictly because it is easily the most hilarious of the 80s Friday the 13th films.
Definitely. Jason on a boat.
If you plan on watching along with us at home, and I recommend you do, I am pressing play now. Alright, this motion picture has been rated R.
Restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian.
Do you ever have an adult guardian take you to an R-rated movie, Mr. Mash?
Yeah, because my grandmother was into horror movies. So.
No.
God, even the Jason call is...
Well, this one is weird because it opens... It actually says, the voice says, Jason.
That's why it sounds weird.
And I've always wondered about this opening. Who is this voice meant to be?
I mean, to me, it sounds a little reminiscent, or like an homage, if you will, to Vincent Price. Almost like narrating a.
Well, on the audio commentary, the director explains that this is some DJ they found, but what's it meant to be in story? Because you have some guy talking about how dark the city is and how much he loves it. And when I first saw the movie, I was like, is this Jason's interior monologue?
Yes, he sounds that fluent, you know.
Now, this band performing this opening song was a band made especially for the movie called Metropolis. And this little bit of 80s cheese is called The Darkest Side of the Night. Now, this guy, I think, was asking to be mugged. Look at that. He's walking for a ghetto alleyway in a suit with a suitcase. Come on, man. You were asking for it. I bet this is actually some sex fiend who wanted to get beat up.
Yes. Yes, that's right. That's what it was. But, you and I were talking a little bit right before we turned on the commentary that I like this movie because it's so bad that it's good. And then you said you like it in the same way that you like Freddy's Dead, and I'm like, yes.
I actually think Freddy's Dead is maybe a little better than this movie as far as... Because Freddy's Dead actually tries to do something kind of interesting and fails spectacularly, while this movie is...
just bad.
Well, it's kind of a combination of a total lack of ambition. But if you've read Crystal Lake Memories, or seen the documentary they've made of it, the director of this film talks about how originally the project was much more ambitious, and how it had a sequence with Jason on the George Washington Bridge and in the Empire State Building, and all of these famous New York landmarks. And of course, the budget was not able to support a vision that elaborate.
So I mean, that's how you been a better movie.
It would have been, but that's how you wound up with 90 minutes of Jason on a boat.
Wow.
The darkest side.
And it's like, 5 minutes of the movie takes place in Manhattan.
I mean, the last act is set in Manhattan. Boy, those needles, that heroin's taking a long time to melt there, junkies.
Maybe it's cold out.
And also, I've been to New York, and I've never been to New York in the 1980s, obviously, but I find it kind of doubtful that there were ever just barrels of chemical waste just sitting there in the alleyways.
Maybe.
So here we are at Crystal Lake. So this is something I've always wondered. What's the geography of Crystal Lake? Because apparently it has a tributary that runs into the Hudson Bay.
Well, maybe, Zach.
And this yacht is just hanging out around here. So, it's been a while since I've seen Part 7, but from my memory, by then the camp was completely shut down, yes?
Right.
So, I guess these are just vacation homes here?
Maybe. I don't know, all of them take place 10 years from now anyway.
Yeah, all of I think we've previously discussed how fucked the timeline, the inner chronology of the Friday the 13th series is. Because if you listen to Wikipedia, Part 7 is set in the year 2000. Even though everybody is wearing 80s clothing and it's 80s fashion.
Right.
Honestly, find it more likely that there's a time portal at the bottom of the lake than that movie being set in 2000, personally. Uh-oh. Oh, there are some titties in this. I'd forgotten about the titties. It's got kind of weird-looking nipples.
Yeah, they're pointy bra boobs.
Not the best titties this series has seen.
Although, her butt isn't bad.
Are we really having this conversation on air?
Yeah. I mean, it's there. You might as well talk about it.
Okay.
I want to point out that this death scene coming up,
we'll get to that in a minute. This is something I've always wondered about. Why is there a giant electrical cord running across the bottom of Crystal Lake?
Because they have to have power to the cabins?
I guess. Seems a little unlikely, personally.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Jimmy. It's always a Jimmy or a Billy or a Johnny. All those murders. All of those murders, the 100-plus murders.
Yes,
you think at this
the 100 murders last year.
You think people would stop going to Crystal Lake at this point in time? You'd think so eventually. Now, one of the many problems with this film is I feel like it has one of the worst designs for Jason. Which is a real disappointment because coming off of Part 7, which had one of the best Jason designs. But in this one...
Even Jason himself says so.
Yeah, Kane Hodder agrees. But in this film...
we've met that guy.
We have met that guy. In this film, he goes from wearing the tattered work shirt that he had on last time to wearing the Michael Myers jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Which is lame. And, of course, we don't get a look at his face until the end of the film, but it's super disappointing. Man, I don't know which one of these people have prettier hair, the boy or the girl.
The girl.
Now, this does give us sort of a motivation for Jason, how he has a personal grudge against teenagers everywhere. Do you apply to that theory? Do you think that has any basis on the rest of the series?
I mean, I feel like it does apply to the rest of the series.
I was always more under the impression that Jason's motivation was strictly territorial. He was sort of like a big angry bear, and Crystal Lake is his territory, and if you go around here, you're gonna get killed, because you just don't go wandering into other people's territory.
Nah, I like to feel like there's some kind of motivation there.
So Jason, like King Kong in King Kong vs. Godzilla, is powered by electricity, apparently. This makes twice now he's been revived.
Yes, I'll have you know that I will have King Kong, if you haven't watched it yet. I will have King Kong vs. Godzilla before May.
Okay.
On Blu-ray.
Yes, I know. Let's not get too far off the topic here. Talking about future episodes.
Just, whatever.
Check out the boat designs on those pillows, man.
Now, let's see. Does the underwear magically appear on his body?
Oh, yeah, let's watch. Let's see if there's magical appearing underwear. Oh, I don't remember that. That's bad. The evil laugh on the soundtrack.
Yeah. Why does Jason laugh?
I don't think it was him laughing. I don't know what that's supposed to be.
Bobby? Timmy?
Mikey? Johnny?
Yes, Billy.
We're gonna need another Timmy.
It's like, yes, Billy, condoms will protect you from STDs and other venereal diseases.
But they won't protect you from serial killers. But at this point, I don't even know if Jason qualifies as a serial killer. I guess he's more like a mass murderer, really. If you look at the numbers of his body count.
Well, yeah, but they take place over a span of time, so therefore he's a serial killer.
Oh, wait, I guess he would be a spree killer. Anyway, it's real convenient that Jimmy happened to have a hockey mask that is exactly like Jason's mask, with the axe wound in the forehead and the part of the jaw removed.
Yeah.
And what the fuck is this kid's problem? Why would you do that? You're about to get laid.
Look,
yeah, he's got underwear on. I'll never do it again. Sure he won't. because he seems trustful. But I mean, seriously, if I was Mac on chick, I wouldn't get up just to play a stupid prank on her like that. Now, we disagree about this upcoming death scene. And but something we will discuss as we watch this film is that I feel out of all of the original series, this is the one most badly marred by the MPAA. You could tell by this point they were sick of the gore. And this film is... The effects and the violence really suffer in this movie because of the... It's not even censoring, because... They filmed like gory versions of the death scenes and light gory versions, and of course the ratings board went with the light gory versions. And the effects in this movie are very bad. And there was the man himself.
See, it's Jason laughing.
I don't know what's
which
up
is even. See, tubes.
It is the tubing on, because when I first saw this movie on TV, I assumed he stabs the guy. I assumed that the thing you see on the end of the tubes were the guy's intestines, and I thought they were really, really fake looking. But apparently there is some sort of tubing on the spear gun. But the point is, it still looks terrible. Look at how corn syrupy that blood is. What is with the sound mixing in this movie?
You know, one time he says, Jason, Jason, Jason. You know, and
there's evil laughing.
And then, yeah, ha 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 ha.
It's terrible.
He's like a video game boss. He's a fighting game boss.
He's sinister.
You know, he's going to punch and kick that girl a couple times, and then he's going to stop and go, ha 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 ha, and then he's going to go back to punching and kicking her.
Okay,
and then he's going to fatality.
So is Jason more like Shao Kahn or more like M. Bison?
Shao Kahn.
Okay, clearly.
Freddy would be the M. Bison of the two.
Okay. This actress doesn't seem scared enough.
She's like, do you think you'll get me?
Hello, baby.
Hello, kitty.
Is she going to try to escape or run? Or
Is she screaming or having an orgasm?
Just sitting there in this little alcove, waiting as he very slowly stabs her with the spear.
That's what you get for having a little... Never mind.
Uh-oh. Well, she sure was penetrated. Uh-oh.
Oh, womp, womp, womp.
It's just another day for Jason, you know. It's his job. That was a pretty cool shot.
Talk about liking it rough.
Uh-oh. That was a pretty cool shot. The camera looking in as he slams the door. I like that.
Yeah, that's like one of the few things this movie has going for it.
I don't know if you noticed, but the boat these high school students are about to get on was called the Lazarus. I'm nudging him with my elbow.
Him still doesn't get it.
The Lazarus, the famous biblical character that came back from the dead.
See? There you go.
I shouldn't have to explain Bible references to you, man. That's pretty elementary.
Uh-huh.
Stephen King supposedly used it in high school. I mean, there's no definitive proof that he didn't. Now our final girl, her writing ability is pretty much an informed ability, because you never actually see her do any writing in the movie.
Right.
You just have to take the character's word for it. Yeah, she's good at it. Sure, whatever.
You know, she doesn't... I don't even know why they put it in the movie. Like, it does nothing.
Some weird attempt to add depth to the proceedings.
You know, of course, that maybe when they were writing it with the idea of, like,
this would be a bigger film than it was.
Yeah. I guess maybe there might have been more to it.
Oh, and here's the huge fucking jackass in this movie. This character is nothing... I believe he's like the principal, I guess, or something, but he's nothing but a massive prick to every single person in this movie.
He's like, gee, I woke up today, let's be a jerk. That's nice.
We're running 5 minutes
it's
late
nice
already.
to have a pretentious douchebag.
Now, personally speaking, when we graduated from high school, we didn't get a cool yacht trip out to New York.
You know, and like, You know, my stepmother always told me how, like, the seniors always got to have a trip to D.C.
You didn't get any of that shit.
Didn't get...
What the hell?
I mean, I got a trip to New York, but I had to pay for that shit.
Yeah, what the fuck? So this guy's looking at her like she just shit her pants or something. What the hell is this dude's problem?
Well, he's her uncle.
Right. But that doesn't explain why he's such a massive prick.
Well, I think it's like something about her parents dying on the ocean or something.
It's not important.
I mean, it does explain why he's a dick towards her, but it doesn't explain why he's a dick towards everybody else.
He's pretty similar to the psychiatrist character from the previous movie.
Actually, you know who he's like?
Who?
The guy in that Twisted Sister video.
He is like the dad from the Twisted Sister video. Well, as we see later in the film, Jason isn't going to take it.
No! He ain't gonna take it. He's not gonna take it.
I see what you did there.
You got it.
So did this, the blonde just escape from an old-timey prison?
Maybe. Dad, I don't want to be a successful...
boat captain.
Boat captain and make a lot of money.
I use that
because we clearly live in a boating town.
I mean, obviously they're in the Hudson Bay. I don't know. Like I said, if you try to figure out the timeline and the geography of the Friday the 13th films, it's a gateway to madness.
I really, honest to God, I don't think that this is I don't think this is Crystal Lake.
Well, but then how did the yacht get out of Crystal Lake and get here?
This isn't the same yacht.
But the yacht that Jason is in at the beginning of the movie floats over to this boat. That's how he gets on the boat. Once again, the answer that Crystal Lake has a magical portal at the bottom makes the most sense.
Well, in this movie, Jason teleports, so maybe
he
pulled a Dracula and levitated the boat into the Hudson Bay.
And yeah, the teleporting in this film is terrible. We'll talk about that when it comes up. No, Dad.
Jason teleporting just makes no sense.
I feel we were bad for the friend stuck holding the sextet. It's like, oh, I'm just going to stand here and hold this.
Why is the mask yellow?
I was wondering the same thing. It's really yellow in that shot.
Maybe Jimmy was a smoker.
Here's our Crazy Ralph character.
Wait a minute, hold on, I have a question.
Okay.
Did we see the boat float into this?
We did. We saw the yacht float over into this bay here.
Oh, okay. Because I must have missed that somewhere.
Oh man, check out this funky music.
Because this is Thriller.
That's what it sounds like.
Thriller night. Man, that boat's a pit. So there.
I see.
Lazarus pit.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, Nuffin says fun high school celebration like shuffleboard.
And
skeet shooting, yeah. That's what the kids are into. Did you believe that at one point in time they would actually hand a high school student a gun?
I don't believe that ever happened.
Seems dangerous.
I don't know what was going on with that dancing, but that seemed like bad dancing even for the 80s. And the 80s was full of great dancing movies, like Dirty Dancing.
And Breakin'. And Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo.
And,
Flashdance?
Yes, thank you.
Fame?
Fame was 80s? I thought
Fame
it was late
80s.
70s.
Fame was 80s.
Oh, my bad, homie.
But unlike the characters in Fame, these teens will not live forever.
Oh.
For some reason, I always remember the final girl as being blind or something. The truth is, she's just really socially awkward. And for some reason, she gets to bring her dog with her on her senior trip.
And I don't know who that guy is, but he looks familiar.
He sort of looks like that dude from Beverly Hills 90210. Luke Perry? A little bit?
No.
I know it's not him, but it looks a little bit like
I don't
him.
see it.
You ever been to the Statue of Liberty?
I've seen it from a distance.
Yeah, I've been to New York, but I've never been to the Statue of Liberty. I've been to the top of the Empire State Building a couple of times, but...
So I didn't get to do that either. I did get to see a show on Broadway, though.
Good for you.
The producers.
Oh, yeah. This guy wearing an ascot? Oh, man, he is an asshole.
That's not an ascot.
It's
a
not
tie.
But he's got a thing on it. He's got, like, 3 layers on.
He's got a a shirt, a vest, and a jacket. You know, you're being harsher on this guy than you need to be.
I'm sorry, he's just such a prick. Now, by this point in the Friday series, it was pretty common for all the teens to have some sort of defining characteristic.
Yes.
And here we're obviously meeting the late 80s rocker chick, sort of a would-be Joan Jett.
Who's being followed by...
the creepy video nerd.
Yes.
Now...
the Zack of the 80s, if you will.
You can kiss my ass. Besides, this chick is totally not my type.
I mean, I wouldn't kick her out of my bed.
I believe this woman is the voice of Gohan on the 90s Dragon Ball dub.
Well, that just ruined it for me. I'll never get a boner watching Dragon Ball again. See what I did there?
I'm not going to follow up on that one.
I was kidding.
Shockumentary footage.
Is that real 80s lingo? Scam on Tampa?
I doubt, quite seriously. Yeah, don't be a dweeb, Wayne.
Sadly, she's one of the best actresses in this film.
Well, the dynamic they have here is a little interesting and pretty realistic because it's pretty common for, you know, a guy to have a female friend in school and not realize that she's into him because he's crushing on some girl who's totally out of his league.
Yep.
And he only realizes later that he could have been having a lot of hot teenage high school sex. But he was too stupid to realize it.
But that doesn't fit into either one of our lives.
No, we were never that lucky. Anyway. Hey, is that foreshadowing? There's a storm coming? Is that foreshadowing?
There's a storm coming, Mr. Wayne. You better batten down the hatches.
Hey, why don't you just remind me of how frightened I am of the water, prick?
Here, let me throw your ass in so you can take a swim. Drown or swim?
Yeah.
That is the question. That guy's been in stuff, too.
Oh, I'm sure he has. Why is she's trying to conquer her fear and his reaction is like, facing your fear doesn't always... I don't want you to succeed. I want you to fail. What a prick. I hate the fact that this guy survives throughout most of the movie.
Yeah, don't he get one of the worst deaths in the film?
Yeah, he gets drowned in a barrel of toxic waste. Well, this does look like the set of an 80s music video because she's in a basement and there's steam coming up through the steel.
Yeah, definitely 80s.
Get some
hair metal.
Get some spinning gyros that just make sparks and we're set.
Do you think she could really play guitar like that?
No. Jason hate music. Music bad. Well, she's too busy rocking out to notice him.
That's why she's the first one to die. Which is kind of sad, because she is one of the most interesting characters.
She seems like she would have been a more interesting character to keep around. Well, I could tell people that I heard screaming, but I'm just going to stand around and be ominous instead.
You know, I could use this guitar as a weapon, but I'm just going to throw it down.
So there's our first teleportation there. Jason was at the top of the steps, she runs down the steps, and then he's at the bottom of the steps.
Oh, she's riding there. You do see her riding. You lied.
It's been a while since I've seen this film. Oh, what a cute dog.
I've seen cuter. Besides that, in a horror movie, you don't need a cute dog. You need a big, ferocious, like, bull mastiff or something.
Another problem I have with the way this film treats Jason is in the previous movie, Kane Hodder was shot from low angles to make him seem even bigger than he is. And in this movie, is not shot in that fashion, so Jason winds up looking kind of small, truthfully.
And boy, when you meet Jason in real life, he really does try to choke the life out of you.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the first Jason ghost?
Oh, that's another terrible thing about this movie. Ugh.
Yeah, but see, now you have to ask yourself, is she psychic, or does Jason have some kind of, like, memory projection power, or...
Well, that would certainly, if Jason did have some sort of ability to psychically project his memories, that would explain the end of the first film.
Yeah.
But, then again, who knows? These scenes are really poorly done and rather abrasive. Because, first off, this kid actor playing Jason is terrible. I mean, kid, all you gotta do is drown to death. You have to be so melodramatic.
Because I totally had to stop that dog from leaving the room when the door was shut. This guy has a great test scene later.
Well, the one kid he's boxing with right now is a terrible boxer. He's just getting hit in the face all the time. Is it a muscular bod?
Why would you have...
Damn, right in the face.
Why would you have boxing here on a high school trip
I'm going to say, this yacht is loaded full of stuff to do.
You know, this movie's almost like if Trauma did Jason.
No, it's nowhere near stupid enough.
I don't know if the acting's bad enough.
We should do a Trauma episode someday. That would be great.
Oh, God, I don't have it in me.
Now, I'm sure you know this, but the Asian lady here, this is Kelly Hu would later go on...
Kelly who?
Who would later go on to co-star
first?
in X-Men 2. She was Lady Deathstrike in that. She was love interest in The Scorpion King. She's been in some things here and there.
Huh.
So there's a semi-famous
Man, she got hot later on in life, didn't she?
Well, I don't know, I've always found the 80s perm hair to be kind of degenderifying. Maybe it's just the fact that that was the fashion when I was really, really young in the late 80s and early 90s. But it's, for some reason, the big frizzy hair that was so popular in the late 80s and early 90s, is just, it really kind of diffuses any sexual attraction. And you know, in the original Friday the 13th, they smoked pot, because this was made in the cocaine era. Cocaine is now the drug of choice.
Toot. Don't do the cocaine, because if you do the cocaine, you won't grow up to be in Scorpion King and
No, well, I mean, actually, coke might be a good thing to do if Jason's chasing you. It might make you run faster. Though I think clearly, if you want to take a drug to survive a Friday movie, it should be bath salts, because then you'd be way scarier than the killer.
Yeah, you know, if you're in a walking zombie apocalypse, just take bath salt.
You'll fit right in.
Because you'll turn into a running zombie.
Now, a second ago, they referred, the blonde, who has a name, referred to the drug as toot. Now, is that a euphemism you have any experience with?
No.
Never heard it called toot.
I don't have any experience with coke. So.
Good for you. Now, this is something I always disliked about this film, and this was a weird censorship issue. Jason walks by this dartboard, and he's going to go in and kill somebody in a minute here. Now, you would assume he would kill them with the darts. That seems to be the setup, right?
Right.
But he doesn't use the darts.
He uses the board. No.
Well, no, in a minute here, he uses the hot sauna rocks. Now, I'm fairly certain a death scene was filmed with the darts, but for some reason it got cut for probably censorship reasons, but it was one of the things that always disappointed me about this film. He probably does think you would use drugs.
Well, you know what I don't understand, and maybe you know. And again, I'm not a drug user, so I don't know.
No, I clearly am.
But why is every time you see somebody using coke, why is it that they always like have it on a mirror or a reflective surface of some sort?
I cannot answer that question. Why?
But have you noticed that though?
Yeah, no, they have the coke on a mirror and they separate it with a straight razor, and then they usually sniff it with a rolled up dollar bill. I don't know why that is the tradition.
Well, she had a metal too, but I understand the straight razor thing because that's to chop it up.
That narking bitch. Now, clearly the blonde here is set up as the evil, mean girl. Now, here's the sauna rocks. Okay. Now, from my understanding, this guy here has no name. His character is credited only as Boxer.
When the next time I meet Kane Hodder, I'm going to ask him if it hurt to pick up the sauna rocks.
I'm betting they weren't really hot. Just throwing that out there.
Way to be a logical, snarky sack of...
This is a really loaded up boat. Look at that. They've got a sauna, they've got a boxing ring, they've got shuffleboard and skeet shooting. Damn.
They're like, well, we've got to put 90 minutes of footage on this boat, so let's jam it full of stuff.
Let's do something.
I got asked the other day if I would ever do a sauna thing, and I'm like, I don't do the sauna thing because that's too many naked men in a tight area for me.
Well, of course, you could replicate the same thing just by going into your bathroom and running a really hot bath.
Yeah.
Julius, Orange Julius Caesar. It is kind of a nice effect that the guy you can actually see his body catch on fire a little bit when Jason rams the rock into him. So that's kind of neat. This is honestly one of the better death scenes in the movie, truth be told.
I know, and it's really cheesy.
That seems sarcastic. Yeah, a lot.
You ever watch a movie and have somebody say a line and you're like, that's not the proper tone for this movie?
The look on her face like, you bitch!
Because I'm not going to jump in there after your stupid ass.
Oh, and Kelly Hu's like, oh, I can't believe she did that even though she told me she was going to.
And she starts going, you look like Wi-Fi.
Oh, dude, whoa, way to be racist! That was not necessary. Jesus.
I was quoting Uncle from the Jackie Chan cartoon.
Here's another
psychic projection.
Yeah.
So which do you want to go with? Is it that she has a psychic, or do you think he's projecting memories? Or whatever?
I think the movie does imply that the final girl in this is psychic to a degree. But, like I said, looking for internal logic in this franchise is really a dog's errand.
I know, but that really needs explaining. That's one of the problems this film has, is that it does that ghost child, and...
Just one of the problems.
And, it never explains why. It's like, hey, it's there.
We need this in here so we can get a lame jump scare. Now, would you say that any of the Friday the 13th films are scary?
I mean, the first two...
I would say...
You like if it's your first time seeing it?
I would say 1, 2, and 4 come close.
Yeah. 4 actually does get you on the edge of your seat. Even me that's seen it 3 or 4 times, I'm like...
But even at this point, by this point in the franchise, the scares were completely neutered. I can't imagine anybody was going to see these movies because they thought they were frightening.
Yeah, no, I mean...
At this point, it was all about the cult following of Jason as a character. Everybody wanted to see Jason kill people and do his thing. They thought he was cool.
Well, back to the ghost child.
Oh, God, we're not done with the ghost kid.
The problem with this movie is that it never really...
establishes any sort of internal logic.
Well, with the whole series, Jason's able to do these things, and it just says because it's Jason. At least with Freddy. When he does this
Freddy is obviously supernatural.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They basically fixed any continuity errors that they would have by saying, you know what? He can do it because he has power over the dreams.
Oh, this is bad. I really hate this.
Why is young Jason Asian?
He looks a little... I think it's just the droopy eyeball. The makeup on him is terrible. Yeah, this whole sequence is really badly done. I think the suggestion is that Rennie is psychic and is picking up on the evil vibes that Jason is putting out.
Well, I mean, I would think so too, but I mean, it could be that Jason just has an extra soup of power because he
extra soup of power,
or like souped up, like he's got an extra boost of power. I couldn't think of the word.
Well, after Part 6, when he is brought back from the dead with a lightning bolt, the series pretty much became anything goes in that regard. Because you had a psychic chick in Part 7 and all sorts of ridiculous supernatural things.
But that's when he gets resurrected by lightning or electricity again.
Yeah, and then of course the 9th film goes completely off the rails into weird supernatural elements.
Well, that's another story of its own now.
It's pretty unethical for a principal to be considering sleeping with a student like this, I think. I really...
Yeah, but when...
The body painting, that's not sexy. I love the music at this scene. That's a saxophone.
It's like, because you couldn't tell that this was a...
I know. How much more pornish could this be? The answer is none. Well, actually, it could be more, but...
Well, look, right there's your answer.
There's some light voyeurism. Director having a Brian De Palma moment. And it didn't become cool for students to sleep with their teachers till at least the mid-90s.
Well, no, late 80s. Sounds about right. You know what a great music video is?
It's a great music video.
The music video to "I'm Okay, I Promise" by my not. That's one of those ones you can watch and find entertaining.
Why are we talking about this?
Because I was getting there. Because it's like an '80s nerd gets revenge against jock.
Okay, that sounds awful.
Oh, you're just cynical and hate everything entertaining.
That's right.
Unless you approve, and that's scarce.
So, are we gonna do it?
No, jerk. I like your camera, but not your penis. Go away.
Aw, poor Wayne.
I like your tape, but not your... Never mind.
Uh-oh.
Did you see where I was going with that?
I saw where you were going with that. That's pretty realistic. Usually how it goes. Yes, you are.
How about you go find that hot rocker babe?
Yeah, nobody notices that characters are dying, disappearing. Nobody comments on this. Jason was hanging out in the next room the whole time.
Yeah, I feel like with this movie, it was almost like the director got pissed about all the budget cuts and shit and just did this to make fun of the series.
I feel like that is a very likely scenario.
Because this movie's almost so bad.
It borders to parody, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a good example of how the film kind of skimps on the exploitation elements that had been the series' bread and butter. How it teases this nude scene with this actress, but then you don't actually see anything.
I know, jackasses. Why couldn't we see some good tits in this movie?
I mean, that makes us sound like a bunch of creepy perverts, but well, if you're listening to this show, you probably know already that we're creepy perverts.
And you know, we're doing a commentary on our Friday the 13th movie,
and not one of the good ones either.
So since we did 2 commentaries of classic, we're going to do 2 commentaries of slasher.
Maybe we should do a commentary on on Freddy's Dead next.
Yes, I agree.
Jason really hates doors.
You heard it here first, folks. Oh, we got to see a little ass crack.
Yeah, I guess.
Wait, I'm not supposed to die. I'm the hot one.
I did love the way Jason punches that mirror. It's like, damn, fuck you, mirror. I'm gonna do this thing.
Okay, but did he break the mirror to get to class to stab her with, or was he like Jesus?
Well, that just kind of depends on how self-conscious you think Jason is.
Like, do you think he just saw himself in the mirror, got scared, hurried up and punched the mirror?
I don't think he got scared, but clearly Jason has a thing about his face. That's why he always wears a mask. Clearly has something against looking at himself.
You overanalyzed the joke sack.
That transition almost worked, cutting from the screaming to the fog pipe. Almost works.
Shit. Jason's like, I got a fog pipe for you.
Oh my god. This is terrible. This is a disaster. Anyway.
What's this, movie or this podcast?
This commentary. Coming up is one of the worst death scenes in Friday the 13th history. And when I first saw this film, as a young person, even then it was evident how there's something really wrong with the way this movie turned out if something like this is allowed to happen. Here's some weird character development that doesn't pay off or amount to anything. I guess you should give the writer credit for trying.
Yeah, take controls, man. I gotta
take a whiz, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, we're like, I gotta talk to my son. I love my dead gay son.
Okay, going completely off topic here. They're making a Heathers musical.
Let's stick to the movie. That's kind of a cool shot where Jason's all
green. The green lighting is somewhat effective. Aww, that probably shouldn't be funny, but it is. Go God, Carl! Okay, here's the death scene.
They're eating her.
They're gonna eat me. Oh my God! Okay, here it is. This is the worst death scene ever because he cuts the guy's throat, and there is no blood. It's like a marker. There's no blood oozing out of the wound.
Like, you can even see him not cut his throat.
That is terrible. And I first saw this film on TV, so I thought, oh, maybe this is an alternate cut for television. But when I saw the DVD and the effect was exactly the same, I couldn't believe it. Oh my God, how did that get released?
They didn't have to change much in this movie to play it on.
This is probably one of the most TV-safe Jason films, yeah.
You know, I think they have to take out the boob shot in the beginning, and then that's about it.
I know that, obviously, the MPAA made them do that. But at the same time, it just blows my mind that anybody thought that would work. So terrible. And you were making a Dracula analogy earlier. Here's Jason propping up the captain on the wheel.
Yep.
Well, I guess they're never going to get that father-son reunion there.
They're eating her.
We should do a Troll 2 commentary, my God. Check out the fashion in this, man. Is there an even clearer indication this was made in 1988? I think it was made in 1988. 87 or 88.
I'm gonna say this at the risk of sounding like the racist guy.
Oh, don't really say anything racist.
No, I'm not trying to be. I'm really not. But you can tell that he's the token black guy.
Yeah.
Because he's the only guy walking around going, what the fuck is this? Fuck that. I'm gonna mess you up, motherfucker. You know, like,
well, by this point in the series, it was standard issue to have a token black character.
Well, yeah, but it's like in the 80s, it was like, that's how you could tell.
Oh, yeah, that's how black characters in movies talk. That was just the way it was.
Yeah. That's what I said. I wasn't trying to be racist.
And even in the most recent one, there was sort of that token black character who was into pot and rap music.
Yeah. Wasn't that Michael? No, that wasn't Michael B. Jordan.
I don't know. It might have been. But I guess now is as good a time as any to talk about there's a new Friday film in production, and the latest rumor is that it is indeed going to be a found footage film. And
hate it.
I don't know, man. I feel like the opportunity when it would have been a good time to do a Friday the 13th found footage movie has passed.
Like 3 years ago.
Yeah. And it could be interesting, I suppose. We haven't really had a slasher film done in that style yet, but I don't know, man. I really would rather see a straight-up Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah, I mean, that would... Same thing with, like... I just... Found footage horror just doesn't really...
It can be done well, but it's certainly overexposed by this point, and by now it's on the way out.
Yeah, I mean, because you got that whole, like, Paranormal Activity thing.
I mean, the Paranormal Activity series is still limping along, but it's definitely wrapping up, I feel.
Yeah, VHS was good, but why are we talking about these movies on this commentary?
But I really would prefer to see a new Friday the 13th film to be just a straight-up Friday film. I mean, I don't know, just...
They need to make another Friday the 13th film. They need to make another Nightmare on Elm Street film, and they need to do a remake of Freddy vs. Jason. Although I don't know that you could ever capture that magic again.
Well, that's another issue. I mean,
and you know how they can make it better?
How could they make it better, JD?
They could put Jason Mewes in it as the drugging instead of that fake-ass Jason wannabe.
Yeah.
But you could tell they were like, wouldn't it be awesome if we had Chainsaw and Bob show up in this film? Oh, wait, we can't get them? That sucks.
It really surprises me they couldn't, because from my understanding, Jason Mewes will show up if you make him a sandwich.
I doubt it that it's that easy. But we should try that one time. Like the next Aquaman audio play. We
are getting way off topic here. So Jason's watching the final girl. Now, what are your opinions on Jason's relationship with his various final girls? Because sometimes he seems really pissed off at him. Because I know in Part 7, the previous film, Tina, I believe was the name of the Carrie stand-in, he was pretty pissed at her. He was ready to kill her. But
yeah, but on the other hand, she's like hurling TVs at him and
he was
dropping decks on
angry,
him.
Yes. But in this time, they really are trying to set up some sort of connection between Jason and the final girl. Not really sure what they were going for on this one.
I don't know. I just think he's an asshole that shouldn't teleport as much.
I wonder if that axe will be important later. Is this another fake-out scare? It is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's the uncle.
Yep, there he is again. I have no love for the fake-out scare in 80s horror movies.
I don't have any love for the fake-out scare in general.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, because...
Like the squealing cat, hate that. Although I will admit that one's gotten me more times than I would like to admit.
I loved it in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, where they actually had a spring-loaded possum. But... yeah, I'm not a big fan of the fake-out jump scares. I just feel like they're really lame, because you can always tell when one is going to be fake.
Right.
And of course, the series specializes in that. Now, you notice that the hole where Jason punched through the door had some sort of slime leaking off of it.
Yes.
Why is Jason so greasy in this movie?
Because he sat down in the bottom of a lake.
We're going to get some more teleporting here in a minute. Now, why is the disco room on?
Sorry, I was dancing like I was in an 80s horror movie.
Well, I think the benchmark for dancing in 80s horror movies was set by Crispin Glover in Part 4. The spaz dance he does in that.
Yeah, there are some people right now that are saying Crispin Glover was in Part 4.
Of course he was. Everybody knows that. He was great in that movie. He was... No, he wasn't Jimbo. Was he Jimbo? I don't know.
I think he was Jimbo.
We should be watching that one instead. Now, here's some prime teleporting. I look over here, and now he's over there. What the fuck?
And now he's behind me. And now you're coat rack.
I mean, this is a really... Talk about the director fumbling here. Clearly they were trying to build some suspense, but this scene is comically overwrought.
Yeah, but I'm sure in the 80s there were teenage girls in the theater that went...
You know, probably because teenage girls love to sit in theaters and go, blah! But I'm not representative of their taste. Though honestly, this death scene, once you get through the build-up bullshit and get to the death, is one of the better ones. It's a pretty... I know it's just a basic choking, but... kind of like the way he tosses her. That's pretty cool. And the music stops.
Get off my hand, bitch.
Managed to scrounge this shit up. I think Part 5 has the most ridiculous token black character. Who gets killed while he's on the John.
Yeah, and he also has the worst token, mentally disabled person, too. That gets killed, like, in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Oh my god, the fat kid with the candy bar?
Yes.
Oh, man. It was there...
I didn't want to help you anyway. I'm going to go over here and see if Jules needs help chopping wood.
Oh, man. I know. He's terrible. But everything about... That's one of the things I dislike about Part 5, is the characters are so exaggerated. To the point where you just want to see them all brutally, brutally murdered.
Brutally murdered?
Brutally. Now, did Video Kid just remember his hair metal girlfriend and is now trying to find her? Because you think he would have...
gun.
Yeah, and the camera.
And the camera for light.
You think maybe he could have put down one, taken the light off the camera, maybe? Just throwing that out there. Duct tape the light to the gun? That would have been a smart idea.
And the camera, or the light on that camera would have been way brighter than that. That's another thing that makes me mad. They'll do something, they'll use something that has a really big bright light, and then when they show the light searching around, it's clearly a flashlight. It's like, come on, guys, at least try. And that's not just in movies like this. I see that in movies all the time.
Well, this is a pretty good example of that, though.
Yeah.
Now, who was this random dude that just got shot? Was this a named character? Or was this some random dude to add to the body count? No, I think it's just some random dude. Real convenient the way his glasses got blown off there.
No, no, no.
No, no.
Hey, your pants leg's torn. Hey, your shirt's torn. Hey, your...
And now Jason's all pissed because he got to kill some other... Because some guy got killed and he didn't do it.
That just means that guy's totally going to get it.
Now, supposedly there is a continuity error coming up here where you can... Before the video nerd gets tossed into the panel and caught on fire, you can see his pants are covered with some sort of flame-retardant fluid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Your head looks like it was popped like a pimple. Are you still alive?
Oh, you can totally see it. Now, another thing. I mean, how hard did Jason throw that guy that he would just burst into flames like that?
I mean...
Damn.
Damn.
Damn!
So I was talking to Cody today.
Oh my god, do you want to do this on the air, dude?
Well, it was paranormal stuff, but whatever.
I wish they would turn the mood lighting off in the cockpit here.
This movie just keeps going. It's like the fucking Energizer Bunny. It just keeps going and going and going. It's definitely one of the... Well, it's not a slow-paced movie, but it's like... It just feels like it takes forever.
Yeah, the pace definitely drags. Certainly, I agree with you. And none of the Friday films have a really strong pacing. They all have kind of a...
Yeah, but some of them are... Most of them are usually...
The better ones are
bearable.
speedier, yeah. This one definitely drags, I agree with you. Though we are about an hour in at this point.
In case of fire, punch this! Solomon Grundy want pounds too!
It's a good thing that Jason was conscientious enough to alert them to the fire. Nice guy. Fire that he started, I guess. I don't care what anybody thinks! Why is this guy such an asshole? Clearly there's no fire.
Clearly.
Oh, here's another bad example of teleporting that I've always remembered.
Oh, is this the part where he teleports up the
Yes.
flagpole? Oh, God.
Here's Jason standing in the rain, breathing heavily, like some sort of pervert.
Like, I just want to give him a shot of my inhaler.
Fuck yo axe.
Like, why is that guy wearing a sports jacket?
That was just the fashion at the time, dude.
With like, dress slacks.
He was over there, and now he's over there!
And now he's going to be up there above him.
That's definitely one of the most ludicrous examples of teleportation in this film. He's at the bottom of the pole. And now he's at the top of the pole. What the fuck? Though this is one of the better death scenes in the movie. I'll give it that. And there's some more evil laughing on the soundtrack. I'd forgotten about the evil laughing. That's terrible.
And Jason doesn't laugh.
That's
what pisses me off about it, is he just doesn't even laugh.
Well, I don't think it's meant to be his laugh. It's just meant to add to the ambiance somehow, but it's really poorly done, for certain. But I do think this is probably my favorite death scene in this movie. Well, second favorite. Well, the truth is I don't really like it that much. Actually, it's bad.
This part here?
Well, there was some more evil laughing. Oh my, I'd forgotten about the evil laughing. That's terrible. I really hate it.
Evil laugh. Don't do it. There's going to be a ghost kid.
Ghost kid. Ghost kid?
Ghost.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is bad. What's with the spaz hands? Though it is kind of funny when Jason headbutts through the glass there and grabs her.
Why don't you just time her? Man, the makeup is really bad on that ghost kid.
I know, it's terrible. It looks like they just took the Toxic Avenger mask and cut it out and glued it to his face.
I don't know what they did, but it sucked.
I do kind of like Jason's body language when he gets stabbed in the eye with a pin. He's kind of like, oh, that stinks.
Oh, he's crying.
Yeah, he's like bleeding a green liquid. What's up with that?
He's a zombie.
I guess. Yeah, at this point he's been undead
and that girl
for...
just stabbed him in his hand. In his hand.
Am I the one who thinks that... Shut up. Am I the one who thinks that explosion in the basement was kind of disproportional?
Possibly. It's like... and everybody's like, what was that? Who farted?
Hey, what are you guys up to, guys? Can I butt in?
Chris is Jason.
Now, what are they having on the menu there? There's just some rolls underneath a heat lamp there?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's not nutritious at all. That's not nutritious at all. Fuck it. It's not nutritious at all. My god, this commentary is a disaster. This is the worst one we've ever done.
Yeah, probably.
Now, does that knife ever become important?
It would have if this would have been the Michael versus Jason movie.
Well, you know, Jason's used a butcher knife a couple of times throughout the series. I mean, I know he definitely used one in part 7. I remember him using a butcher knife in that, but... Yeah, certainly the butcher knife is Michael's trademark weapon. What's this dude's problem? I'm just gonna grab a knife and knock you to the floor, because I'm a prick. Everybody in this movie's an asshole.
I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, I guess we shouldn't be too harsh on these films, since they were written, filmed, edited, and produced within the space of a year. They had a pretty tight schedule, but I don't know, it's pretty easy, though, to be hard on them. Because this one especially. What was with that dramatic musical sting? Engine room!
right there.
Again, that seems like a disproportionate amount of water there. Now.
Oh my god, bitch, just walk already.
Why am I dragging your ass around?
Wow, what a beautiful sunny day.
No, I don't. I don't hear you. I mean, he would listen to you if he was a reasonable human being, but he's not.
Reasonable. You must be reasonable. Patience.
There is no more restaurant? Who writes that? There is no more restaurant.
Because the water drowned in it.
I guess that's, but...
Patience, Iago.
Oh my god.
Flare gun to the chest, bitch.
Now that would have been a cool death scene, but... Nope.
Well, it's always a backstabber in a Friday the 13th movie.
Well, they've definitely done that sort of thing before in this film, where somebody stumbles in and has been killed.
You can't overanalyze the joke.
Maybe I want to overanalyze the joke, JD. What do you think about that? I'm allowed.
Hurry, he might teleport. Bullshit, that's canon. Watch it, watch it. Come on, come on, come on.
He's just standing there.
Why didn't he just chop
the... I mean, do something, Jason. Just don't stand around. This movie isn't going to work without you.
And then he's like, watch, they're gonna get out of the water later, they're gonna teleport right in front of him. And they're gonna be like, ha 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 ha. Because I'm Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat. Ha ha ha.
You suck.
Yeah, you suck. He actually says that, by the way.
I know, that's why I said it.
Son of a... Oh, okay.
Now, I am glad they brought Julius back, because he is actually one of the more entertaining characters in this film.
And he has such a great death scene.
Yeah. And getting just tossed off the boat into the water, that would have been a lame death. So I'm glad they brought him back.
And apparently, he's Aqualad.
He does look a little bit like Aqualad.
Well... I meant because he held his breath under that water for all that time.
Yeah, no, for real. He was definitely down there a long time.
I want to check his neck for gills.
You know, I don't know, man. Seems
row your boat.
Seems like you wouldn't be able to just row into New York. I don't know. So an hour into the film, we're finally getting to New York here.
If I remember correctly, Jason doesn't even take Manhattan. Spoiler alert. I know, you keep telling me I can't say spoiler alert after I spoil the ending of the movie.
It kind of defeats the purpose of saying spoiler alert. Oh, hey, this was important. I'm glad I held on to it.
We've been floating here for 5 minutes.
Well, you see, the fade out makes it seem as if more time has passed.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's what we call the magic of movie making.
The magic. Abracadabra. Actually, it's more like wax on, wax off.
Boy, that scene really was unnecessary, wasn't it?
Yeah. It didn't even work already.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that they, fell asleep in this boat and didn't run into, any other
shipping vessels
Yes.
of any sort.
But, there's no nautical calamity of any means.
I'm glad no maritime disasters interceded on their voyage. Yo, wake up! Oh shit! Check it out! Damn!
World.
He seems really excited about
New
that.
York, New York.
I'll make it boom boom. My God.
Boom, boom, boom. Let me hear you say way up.
Oh my God. This is a disaster. This is the worst commentary ever.
Yes, it is. Frowny face.
Alright, so I stand corrected. An hour and 4 minutes into the movie, and we have finally arrived in New York.
Alright.
So, here's an important question. How did Jason get there?
he laughed when he came up out of the water. we need to make a drinking game for this movie.
Every time there's an unnecessary laugh on the soundtrack, take a
Yes.
shot. That'd make this film a little easier to get through, I think. But seriously, did he just sink to the bottom of the bay and walk over there? Because Jason
No, he
can't swim.
teleported.
Obviously, he teleported.
He fell into the time portal.
Now, obviously, this scene here shows the film is at least somewhat self-aware. And I do like Jason's... He does the Michael Myers head tilt. It's like, huh, I'm suddenly aware of my status as a pop culture icon.
And this movie does suggest that it's a movie within a movie, or
At the very least, the world at large seems aware of who Jason is and what he does.
right. Hey, these guys look familiar.
The same muggers from earlier in the movie. Indeed. It is some good shit, Holmes.
See this bitch? We're gonna take this bitch, we're gonna rape her, we're gonna dose her with heroin.
And that's what it's like in New York. When I finally did get to New York, I was so disappointed I wasn't mugged. It's every film I've ever seen is all about people getting mugged in New York. And it's like, man, it's not like that at all.
No, actually, it's like surprisingly peaceful in New York. Like for the environment, you know what I mean?
Yeah, obviously it
Compared
was
to how it's portrayed.
obviously it was a different situation in the 80s. Were they really going to shoot that dog? Are they that big of assholes?
They dose her with heroin and tried to rape her. And this movie is kind of portrays Jason as a hero type.
Yeah, he ends up... He's Charles Bronson in Death Wish. He's saving these kids from these gangbangers here.
Yes. And he saves her from getting raped. Comprende, Holmes?
Throw in some casual racism. It's all good. Yeah, let's not try and rescue her. Let's just let her get raped and killed.
You've got to call the police.
Because that always works out so well in the horror
Split up,
movies.
gang. Shaggy and Scooby go down that corridor, and me, Velma, and Daphne will go down this corridor.
Has anybody ever written that fan fiction, The Scooby Gang Meets Jason?
Rule 34?
Oh my god. If they haven't, I'm going to. Just a flaming barrel here.
Rock the Casbah.
I hear
They said Casbah.
I hear the Sharif doesn't like it.
And, they've screwed this girl's life up forever because, when she goes to go to college and they see that she had heroin in her system, she's just not going to be able to get into a good school now.
I feel
And it won't matter that.
I feel like most administrative boards would be understanding that she was abducted by a pair of Cachano gang members in New York and injected with heroin and almost raped. I feel like... But then again, who knows?
Spit in my face, bitch, I slap you.
Gotta keep the pimp ham strong. He keeps calling her princess.
And he said it's her parade. Wow, that was very offensive.
It was a little
I'm
bit.
offended by that.
It's
It's
okay.
your parade princess. It can be smooth or it can be rough. It's your choice. Like, damn.
Oh, well, it's okay. Here's Jason coming over to save the day. Because... Thank God! Whew, that was getting uncomfortable. And that's almost a cool shot. Though really, I feel like the needle would probably break before it got all the way through his chest.
Probably, but...
Forgot my money, Holmes. Oh, shit!
Who the fuck are you, Holmes?
I feel like that's almost meant to be the main joke in the movie, that in 1980s New York, Jason wouldn't even seem out of place.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing. This happens a couple of times. People try to shoot Jason, and he just absorbs the bullet and go after him. You know, after the first shot didn't work, I would run away. I certainly wouldn't get closer.
You know, I wouldn't say first shot, because, I mean, it's possible that one shot wouldn't take somebody down if they were, like, on adrenaline.
Okay.
But, you know, if I shot him 2 or 3 times and he was still coming, I would, like, throw the gun at his head and take off running.
Yeah, do a Superman. Throw the gun at him and flee.
Yeah, you know. I would not pull a Donald Pleasance, just keep walking and firing, you know?
It didn't work out for this guy, that's for sure. Wait. Sultan gang rules. Never noticed that before. I wonder
Who's the Sultan gang?
No idea. I don't think it's relevant at all.
What the hell? Run, bitch, run!
Jason really hates glass in this movie. He's just punching for
I know,
glass
it's
all
like-
the time.
Fuck you, glass!
All reflective surfaces must die. There's the budget shot.
Budget shot.
I do like the use of steam in this movie. It's pretty atmospheric.
It's not like I could yell help and these 30 million people right here in front of me couldn't hear me.
Though, if this is truly set in Manhattan, they wouldn't. If somebody yelled for help, they would not come to help, you know.
Oh, this is...
Yeah, this is the best scene in the movie.
And like, he's sitting there punching that plastic mask, but he doesn't even flinch.
Though, honestly, with Jason...
Because he's got the fist of the North Star.
I wish. Would Jason absorb the hits like that? I think he would just flat out kill the dude immediately instead of playing along. That's just my opinion.
I mean, maybe he's on roids and he's hitting harder than we think he is. Now, see, if this was Fist of the North Star, Jason would have just exploded.
he would have exploded by now, yeah.
And then, like, 5 New Yorkers behind him would have just died.
He would have said, "You're already dead," and Jason would explode from the inside out. When I met Kane Hodder, I should have asked him, "Did you really punch that guy's head off?"
And he'd probably be like, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have.
Because he seems like the kind of guy that would do that.
And again, after the first couple rounds didn't work out, I would run. That would seem like the more reasonable option. But
Well, now it's like he's dead either way because he's so exhausted.
true.
Okay, his hands do bleed.
Yeah, well.
And Jason's like, whop. Superman punch.
Wait. Take your best shot. Motherfucker. Shoryuken!
Shoryuken!
And as absolutely ridiculous as that is, it is the best stab in the movie. Because
Right?
the head spins through the air and lands in the dumpster and the door comes down. Good stuff.
You know, this movie did break tradition because the black guy wasn't the first to die.
No, he actually makes it pretty far into the movie.
Yes, and he gets the best death scene in the movie.
I mean, it's completely ridiculous, but I do, as deeply, deeply flawed as this film is, I do think the filmmaker was at least trying to do something different.
Yes.
He was trying to bring more comedy in, even if it doesn't really work. And
I mean,
it really,
when you have movies like Nightmare on Elm Street that are horror, but they have very strong comedy, and they do really well.
Well, yeah, by this point in the series, Elm Street was well into its transition into being fully comedic, so...
Yeah. So, I mean, this...
So there was definitely a precedence for that kind of jokey horror that was clearly popular at the time.
Right.
Why is this random cop just pointing guns at people? Everybody in this movie is an asshole!
My apologies, miss. Are you alright?
Didn't mean to pull a gun on you like that. Sorry. Is that a trigger event? I didn't mean to trigger anything. I didn't mean to trigger any traumatic memories. I'm sorry, ma'am. That's how it would be like today.
Mr. Collect.
Just shut up about Jason, will you? Rolling his eyes. Oh my god, how did this prick make it this far into this movie?
I don't know.
I mean, he's almost the last person to die in this.
I think he is the last person to die.
No, there's a random sewer employee gets clobbered afterwards.
Because he was in the way.
Yeah. Well, they just need to throw in one more body to up the body count.
I really do feel like they should have 13 deaths in every Friday the 13th movie.
Well, I know in Part 6 the director wanted 13 deaths, but the studio demanded more violence, so he actually added a few more. Now, there was another teleportation there. He was in the alley with the cop, and then he's in front of the car.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this movie!
He's going to teleport inside the car here in a minute, isn't he?
I don't think he teleports inside of the car, but...
Oh, no. Heroin. It's a hell of a drug.
Okay, I love that they're being chased by a serial killer, and the guy's reaction is, slow down. What is with this, the slow motion here? This is actually in the movie. This isn't just our DVD, right?
Right. No, every time I've seen the movie, that's been a slow-mo
New experience in the last 3 days.
Okay, be sure to take a hot shower if you get there tonight.
Oh, yes.
Just to wash out all the lactic acid.
Yes.
Okay, so she's
Go carefully.
slammed the car into a wall,
It blows up.
and her female teacher is left in the explosion. So our final girl here is directly responsible for the death of her mother figure.
Yes.
Good job. Heroin is a hell of a drug.
Yes, it is.
And for one weird moment, the principal doesn't look at her and say, "Fuck, Rennie, what's
Yeah.
your problem? You just totally killed
That's
her."
the one time in the movie that he's not an asshole. Is when she totally murders her mother figure. Because why? She's an asshole.
I know. Well, is this
Everybody in this movie is an
everybody
asshole.
in this movie is an asshole.
Does Jason teleport up out of the boiling puddle of goo?
Well, no, we're transitioning into her flashback here, which is the peak of the uncle character's assholery. Definitely.
Oh, yeah, because he throws her in the water and says, swim or die.
Who
Oh, Jason's gonna get you.
Who
If you don't swim.
does that? Hey, you can't swim, you're afraid of the water?
I tell
Here.
the screaming kids at Target that if they don't stop screaming, the Target dog's gonna eat them.
You're going to give kids nightmares doing that kind of shit.
The parents ask, they'll be like...
They ask you to give your children their children
Well, no, but
nightmares?
they'll be like, what do you guys do to screaming children? And I'll be like, oh, well, we just feed them to the Target dog.
The target dog's so cute.
I know, that's why it's great.
That's what you said last year, so I'm just going to throw you in the water because I'm a massive douchebag.
Swim or get killed by Jason.
Seriously, once again, who does this? This guy is not qualified to be anybody's legal guardian. Hey, I'm going to tell you a scary ghost story, and then I'm going to throw you in the lake.
And he looked the same back then as he does...
No, what the hell? Now, okay, so... Jason supposedly drowned, and I'm sure... Let me just push you in the water, kid. See, you could swim. Ha ha ha! I'm an asshole. That's right. This is like going out in the middle of the ocean with a kid who's afraid of sharks and throwing him in the water and saying, "Swim or sharks are going to get you."
Well, I mean, if you're afraid of sharks, aren't you going to swim to get away from them?
No, I would panic and drown.
That's how they teach people to swim in Maryland, is they just throw them in the middle of the ocean.
If you go swimming in the Chesapeake Bay, you might come out with a few extra limbs.
Nowadays, anyway.
So, we hit Jason with a car. He's unconscious, or pretending to be unconscious. But let's not run. Let's stand here and have a 15-minute flashback. Asshole.
And her hair gets poofier and poofier.
Well, all the humidity is clearly making her hair poofy.
I mean, like, you noticed that, right?
Yes.
Never mind the fact I just killed my teacher.
And clearly this
you
is...
bastard! You pushed me in the lake.
I was only trying to teach you. I saved your life from the problem I caused in the first place.
You son of a bitch.
But again, let's have this heart-to-heart when there's a serial killer over there. That's...
You stay here and get killed. Because teen angst. You stay away from her, man, because teen angst. And then Jason's like, Jason sense kicking in. Someone's left alone.
Somebody left the asshole alone.
No!
It's my time to shine.
You.
It's not possible!
Inconceivable!
Because even look at how badly this guy runs. Now, I believe there's going to be some more terrible teleportation. Yeah, okay. Jason's behind him, he runs into a building, and now Jason's in the building. I mean, there's no logical explanation for this at all. It's not the Leslie Vernon thing where Jason's just running when they're not looking, right? Clearly something magical is happening here.
Right. I mean, it has to be.
Murder is magic. And as bad as this dude's death scene is, I almost feel like it was not mean enough. It should have been worse. You know, getting drowned in snot green sewage is bad, but no, this dude really deserved worse. His death scene was not severe enough.
They should have pulled a part 6 with him and bent him backwards or something.
Yeah, right.
Because that cop should have.
Well, no. Swirly
the girl's dad in that movie deserved to get bent backwards.
Yeah, we should be watching part 6 instead. That one's way better.
Part 6 is awesome. It's probably my favorite.
It's up there. It's probably my second favorite. I'm partial to part 4, but 6 is a good time. I think it's definitely the most self-aware Friday film, and the most blatantly enjoyable.
Yeah, but it's self-aware, but at the same time, it's not overly self-aware, you know?
I mean, some people feel like it is. Some fans are annoyed by the winking.
Yeah, those are the same fans that like 5.
I'm not judging any aspersions here, but...
I am. Those are the same fans that like part 5.
Yeah, part 5, you know, it was weird, because for a long time, it was the traditional wisdom that part 5 was the worst Friday film. But when I went online and found that there is a hardcore group of people who love that movie, who say it's their favorite Friday film, I don't know what's going on.
Well, those people are wrong. And now we'll get comments on the podcast.
No, we won't. Hey, this is a good time to make out. You just got shot up with heroin. You're almost raped. Everybody around you is being
he's the real asshole.
You just accidentally killed your mother figure. You had traumatic memories from childhood revived.
Yeah, you know...
This is a good time to make out.
Not only that, but she's a blonde, dude.
Jason hates boxes. I almost want to rewind so I can say, fuck these boxes!
Yeah. Fuck you, boxes! Fuck you! Oh wait, here's more glasses. You gonna break it?
Oh, I hope so.
Is he?
Yeah!
Woo!
Oh!
He just kicks it. He's like, "Fuck you, glass."
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Where's science? Is he gonna say "fuck you, science" next?
Oh, man. Were the trains really that dirty? Because it just seems like they wouldn't let them get that dirty.
I mean...
They probably were,
The
though.
subway I rode on wasn't that dirty.
But then again, that was in post...
Quentin lives.
Quentin lives. Man, for some reason I suspect they wouldn't let Jason on the train. You think there would be somebody there to say, like, whoa, serial...
Let's throw Jason from the train.
Whoa, undead serial killer in a hockey mask covered with blood. Probably shouldn't let you on the subway.
Yeah, probably not.
But then again, who knows? Asshole! Now, okay, here's something else. This film was already established that, in-universe, they are aware of Jason. Because there's that billboard. So, but here's Jason on the subway, and nobody's saying, like, hey, world-famous serial killer.
Jason's like, motherfucker, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, he got up really fast. I don't know if that's in character. Honestly, if it was in character for this movie, he would just teleport back up, right?
You know, in our fighting game that we're gonna make, you know. Jason's just gonna teleport.
Well, I mean, that would I haven't had a chance to play Terrordrome yet, the fan-made fighting game, but I wonder if Jason has a teleportation move. That would seem in character.
I haven't played it yet. I haven't downloaded it yet either. I know I said I was going to, but I didn't. Because fighting games are so hard to play on the...
Well, unless you're used to it, yeah. It really needs a controller. Here we are going off topic again.
Not really. It was Terrordrome. It's a fighting game based on Jason and shit.
And shit.
Well, if I talk about what that other shit was, then I would be off topic.
Good volts?
It's
600 volts.
Oh.
Sorry, that zero looked like a D. Oh my god.
Subway.
Now, do they really believe that that was going to put him down for the count?
Subway. Eat fresh. Sorry.
It just seems unlikely then.
Quality audio and
JVC, quality audio and video. And here we are in Times Square. It's Foster's, Panasonic, McDonald's. All sorts of product placements. Sony.
Foster's, Australian for beer.
Coke. Iowa.
Oh,
Cayman.
and Coca-Cola.
Yeah, of course.
See what I did there?
I think this is probably the most expensive shot in the movie, I'm going to suspect. Because I know it's not cheap to shoot in New York. Kodak film, wow. And I think it is, maybe it's on the commentary or a special feature on the set, where the director says that this was a really difficult scene to shoot in the film because people were around the filming area saying, like, oh man, I want to be in the Friday the 13th movie, I want to meet Jason. My fucking god.
Hello? Yes?
And this is clearly the money shot of the movie. Jason in Times Square is looking around.
I'm not interested in your service. Thank you very much. Please remove me from your calling list. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
I'm going to have to... There's some more teleporting there. Just... How much like this commentary has degraded into us pointing out, like, hey, this doesn't make sense. I
mean, it's an appropriate...
How dare
I mean,
this
I don't
Friday
think
the
we're going to
13th
help anybody
film...
get an A on their exam with this commentary, no. But...
How dare you violate logic, Friday the 13th, Part 8.
Some of the best commentaries out there, Zach, are just, like, reaction videos, basically.
Now, is this out of character for Jason, what he does here?
I don't know, but if they remake this movie now, McLovin needs to play that guy. What the fuck? Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I mean, it's amusing, but in my opinion, it's really out of character for him to do that. Because if it was really Jason, he'd just kill those kids. He would just straight up murder those kids. Now, I know this is supposed to be a greasy spoon and that lady just stuck a cigarette in that food, but is it just me? Or am I thinking like, man, that looks pretty good? That looks like some quality diner food there, lady. That wasn't cool.
Everybody's like, what the fuck? Yeah, he apparently hates wooden doors, too. Fuck you, doors.
Now, this actor here about to get thrown across the bar, that's Ken Krasinger, who played Jason in Freddy vs. Jason.
And that's why Kane Hodder's a better Jason. Proof.
And again, he hates glass.
Yes.
Man, he just...
Reflective surfaces.
Jason
he's
has
bad.
no patience for reflective surfaces in this
Fuck
movie.
you, mirror. Fuck you, 7 years bad luck. That's why there's always a final girl. Because I'm always breaking mirrors.
I guess we're in the final run of this movie now. This is meant to be the climax where only our main characters are left living and Jason is chasing them through New York City. It's pretty underwhelming, is what I'm saying.
Now teleport behind him. No. Oh, let's go down to the sewer. Good things always happen in the sewer.
Hey, maybe we'll meet the Ninja Turtles and they'll protect us.
Where's that bitch April O'Neil? I know she's got a shell phone somewhere.
Oh my god.
You started that one.
But no, it does seem... That does seem like a flaw there. Like, hey, we're being chased by a killer. Let's go into the feces-infested sewers.
And more importantly, why did Jason climb down the ladder? It's like, hey guys, we're having Jason doing too much teleporting in this movie. We're going to have him climb down the ladder.
Let's have a specific shot of him going down the ladder. That's important. We need this.
Yes.
I don't have to run. Shit. I can just walk. Look at this.
And it's like you're trying to rip off Nightmare on Elm Street in this movie, because it's like, that looks like the boiler room scene where Tina's running in the first movie.
I doubt that was intentional, but I don't know. That was in the atmosphere time. Yeah, and here's our extra body. Looks a little bit like Frank Zappa.
And he's going to teleport right... Hold on. He's going to... Wait for it.
Now, I question the logic behind this. Every night in New York, the sewers are flooded with toxic waste. I think they made that up.
Well, it depends on the meaning of the word toxic in that scenario. Because, a bunch of human shit could be toxic.
I'm pretty sure that would qualify as toxic.
It doesn't necessarily have to be
radioactive.
Flesh-eating acid.
Oh, there's the teleporting. Or maybe there was like an extra hallway he went around there. I don't know.
That blood splatter took way too long.
I agree. And it was not in line with where that guy's head was.
No.
It's like his head gets smashed with the wrench and then the blood splatters just a little below.
Yeah, but he didn't even go like this. He went crack.
Once
he did
again,
straight down.
Questioning the logic of these movies.
Well, Jason's like, fuck you, physics.
Well, clearly he can teleport, so clearly Jason is the master of time and space.
Yes. That's a good hope look. Fuck you, physics.
Just going for...
I'm going to run to the sewer with my arms flailing because...
And Jason's just going for a leisurely stroll, yeah. It's okay.
I can snap my fingers and be there in a poof.
And a poof, wow, really. I believe we're going to have the unmasking scene here in a minute.
Because that lid is on there so tight.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, here's our unmasking.
And
And I really... The makeup in this one, it's bad. I know he's making like a dinosaur roar there.
You missed me doing Nicholson Joker, it's okay.
Oh, is that what that was? Okay.
Yeah, because boom.
This commentary is terrible.
Oh, it is not. Just call it an MST.
Oh my god, it's bad. So wait, she circled back to...
So now she has teleportation power? Clearly she's like Jason's long-lost sister or something.
Something's going on here. Don't we meet Jason's long-lost sister in the next one?
Something like a family member.
But the problem with the makeup design in this, you know what it looks like? It looks like a little kid scribbled a monster face, and that's what they base it off of.
Oh god, if only I was a man in the 80s to lift this grade up.
Now, I mean, clearly, we're aware of what level of quality these films are on, so we aren't demanding great art, but a little internal consistency would be appreciated. It would be nice if Jason looked one way in a previous film and looked at least similar in the next one, instead of having a completely different... Now, this is a problem. Jason's talking, saying, "Mommy, don't let me drown," vomiting water. What the fuck is happening? But that line of dialogue, "Mommy, don't let me drown," that doesn't make any sense, because his mother wasn't there when he drowned him.
Right.
The teens that were watching him are off making love, and... I'm just saying. Do some
I should
research.
have been watching him, but instead I was meeting a boy down by the...
And I believe we actually see Jason turning into a little kid here. Okay, he's melting. Right. Oh. I mean, what do you think the filmmaker was trying to accomplish with this one?
The Burning meets Nightmare on Elm Street meets Friday the 13th.
Man, I wish it was The Burning meets Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh.
I think they were going for something mythic. Oh, you're seeing, this is Jason's final death. He's melting, and there's lightning striking the Statue of Liberty, and now he's turning into a little kid because he's been reborn or something. What a bunch of baloney.
Yeah, I don't know.
This film works the best when it's being ridiculous and trying to take the shit out of the franchise. When it's trying to make some sort of mythic statement about things, it really doesn't work very well.
No. And that's not even how the mask looks in Part 9.
Well,
continuity error there.
Well, Part 9 is... It's almost to the point where I feel like Part 9 is in a different continuity than the rest of the movies, because at the beginning of Part 9, he's back in the park as if none of this happened. It feels like there's a missing movie there. The forgotten Friday film that explains how he got from New York back to Crystal Lake.
Well, maybe you should write that film, Zach.
I don't think that's
we could call it Friday the 13th Part 8.5. And it could be Roman numeral 8 and then 0.5.
And here's another fake out. But guess what? It's just the dog, guys. See? It's an adorable little dog. Of course, they did that same thing in Part 2, didn't they?
Yes.
And it was even worse in that movie because it was a little fucking Benji dog.
Yes, it was. No, it's Part 4.
No,
Part 4 was the one with the dog.
The Benji dog's in Part 2. Muffin's in Part 2.
Muffins is in Part 2.
See, I know what I'm talking about sometimes. Well,
Toby's a weird name for a dog.
Toby is a weird name for a dog.
And what was the name of the dog in 4?
I don't remember the name of the dog in 4. I do remember it was like a golden retriever, right?
It was a golden retriever, yes.
And there we go.
Todd Schaefer.
Todd Schaefer. Here are our credits.
And Suzuki was played by Tiffany
VC Dupree? VC Dupree sounds like an MTV VJ. Hey guys, I'm your super cool VJ VC Dupree.
And the theme song to this movie sucks.
Yeah, this is bad.
It'll never top, the man behind the mask.
Clearly, Part 6 has the best theme song.
Yes. He's back.
Well, Alice Cooper was a pretty perfect match with the material,
yeah.
I think. He was definitely on the same wavelength. Well, overall, what are your overall thoughts on Friday the 13th, Part 8?
It's horrible, but
Jason
I love it
Takes
anyway.
As deeply, deeply, deeply flawed as this film is, it certainly does contribute something to the bizarre legacy that is Friday the 13th, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's still... I feel like it's still necessary to own. Well, you can't like, you can't just own one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. You have to own all of them. You can't just own one Friday the 13th movie. You kind of have to own all of them.
If you're a fan of this series, you're in it for the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, there are some series where I don't agree with that. I'm not a completist when it comes to some things. But long-running horror series like this, I feel like you have to. If you have to own one, you got to own all of them.
Well, you know, like Hellraiser, for instance. That would be one. That would be an example of
one where it is not necessary to own all of them.
Yeah, after maybe 4.
Really, for me, and I feel like for a lot of people, it's 1 and 2. I know you're a fan of 3.
I'm a fan of 3.
And 4...
4's not the worst sequel. But I would say 3 is at least worth owning.
But for a long time, this was the last Jason film. This was...
For like 10 years, wasn't it?
It wasn't that long. Because the next one was 93, and this was 88, I think. But
okay, I thought it was 95.
But these were coming out... It might be 95. Don't take me on my word on the dates. But for a long time, this was a yearly tradition. Mm-hmm. And then this was the last one produced by Paramount. Paramount was always ashamed of the series, and I feel like the prices were going up, and the grosses were going down. And with this one, they decided to wash their hands and say, alright, we're done with Jason. And
the New Line took it back and was like, look here, motherfuckers.
Well, they bought Jason with the intention of making a Freddy vs. Jason movie, which they eventually got around to doing a decade after they originally planned it. But can you imagine what Jason fans thought when it came up that this was the last Jason movie? It's like, man, they must have been disappointed. This would be a low note to take the franchise out on, I think.
They should have ended it with 7. If they were going to end it...
I agree. I'm a big fan of 7. A lot of people are not. That film is divisive, but I love Part 7. It's one of my favorites.
It's a ridiculous concept.
It goes for it, though. It's full-on entertainment.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's popcorn movie is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. That was our attempt to do a commentary on Jason Takes Manhattan.
Just call it an NST, dude.
I think it was a failed attempt. I hope you glean some sort of entertainment from this. As always, I am Mr. Bangers, a.k.a. Zach.
And I am Mr. Mash, a.k.a. JD.
If you want to email us, you can contact us at bangersinmash88@yahoo.com. We have a Facebook group. Search for The Bangers and Mash Show on Facebook. You can find us pretty easily. Real episode next time, I promise. That wasn't too terrible, and we'll see you guys next time.
Adios, mi amigos.